That'd be a good start right there. No, that's all right. This is episode 290. #RiffPit. He spelled it right out for me.
#RiffPit. We're calling it that because we got a new giveaway and Riffies, it says in the show notes. Yeah, let us know what our grand prize for that should be. Talk about some cool stuff from Walrus Audio, and then anime.
What are you going to do?
And Warhammer.
And Pac-Man. All right, Pac-Man.
And Pac-Man, and there's some Star Wars right at the top of the show.
Yeah, all right. All the things. We hit all the things. All right, see you later, bye. Okay, or no, wait. Welcome. Enter. I forget that this isn't the end for you.
Oh, wait, what does everyone say now? Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Why do I hear that so much? I heard that in a meeting. I heard that in his Teams call.
Welcome in. That sort of makes sense in a Teams call.
Makes a little more sense than walking into a friggin'
It's kind of yucky
Donuts.
though.
Anyway,
Dunkin' Donuts. Right,
they would never fucking say that at Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, hello. The theme music in my current setup is like so loud in my headphones, and the rest of the show is lower, and I haven't figured out how to get that right, because if I turn it down, then it's bad. Then I have to like turn it up in post, and it's weird. So I am like turning up my headphones as the music fades out, trying to hear if you say anything to me.
Nope.
How's it going?
It's going okay. My kid is awake when he shouldn't be, and it's driving me fucking crazy.
Yeah, we're rolling in hot on the parents.
Just like Beth and I are both like, can you just stop that?
One of those stressful times.
It's one of those kinds of nights, fellas.
Yeah.
And it's anyway. No, we're fine. We're fine. I started building a new droid a little bit ago. Got that going for me.
Yeah.
I landed on a color scheme that I'm really excited about.
Just for this droid.
I
was like, I keep expecting you're going to have like, I landed on like a brand color scheme. Like that your droids are going to start,
No. Aside from K2 and aside from the battle droid, all of the ones that I've built, are a unique color scheme that are not in the films or the shows or anything like that.
Okay.
So
I'm not crazy.
No. Because I don't know if you can see it. My pit droid back here is kind of like R2 themed. It's like blue and white and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, that is a pit droid. It's not one from the movies, but it's one from the universe. And that's kind of exciting and fun. So I tend to do that. So I'm making an Essie droid, which is from Rogue One. It's from like a very fleeting scene in the beginning of Rogue One. The droid that's like kneeling down, it's humanoid, it's kneeling down and like fixing some equipment. And it's just like a home assistant droid. It's kind of just extra hands. It looks like maintenance type of thing. So I'm making one of those, but it's not going to be full size. It's going to be pit droid size because I just can't manage having another 6 foot thing around the house. Yeah. So it's much smaller and much more manageable, but it's really articulatable when it's small, which is really cool because there's less to worry about structurally, so you can bend it at the knees and ankles and the hips where you can't on the large full-size ones. So I'm excited to have one that I can like really pose around and kind of like sit up on a counter or something. But anyway, the color scheme I'm thinking of,
Just have them around the house. I have, the little like print on a sheet X-Wing thing that you sent to me. It's been moving around my house because I put it somewhere, and then when the Christmas decorations came and things on the shelves got rearranged, Marielle was like, "Oh, you should put this somewhere." Because I never like made it into a true ornament. I never put it on the tree. I put it like somewhere else where I could see it. So now I have these like pendant lights on the island in our kitchen, and it's like just balanced precariously on one of those because I'm the only one who can see up there.
It's just a little Easter egg for the talls among
It's like
us.
right here to me, and everybody else is like totally unaware. So it's like my X-Wing on a shelf, right? He's just going to keep watching people. So anyway, sorry I interrupted you, but that's funny. You have like droid on a shelf at Derek's house.
There's one right here. I made one. I don't even know if. Hang on, what did I just do? Oh my God, I'm like having a horrible situation. Give me a second. I can't see around my dang microphone. Making typos. Anyway, I made this one. So there's RJ back there in the corner. I made one that's entirely just filament only. And I didn't paint him or anything.
He's so fun.
So I thought I made this partly because they're really fun designs, and I thought it'd be cool to show people at the cons and stuff how each color here is a different piece. And this is a pretty small project. So I also printed it like a lot more flimsily than I typically would. So it's a little floppy, but it's a cool guy. He looks like absolutely
That's a good idea.
Bonkersville insane. Yeah. But anyway, the color scheme I landed on is like a stone gray, a light stone gray with a dark foresty green. And the main droid portion will be this stone color, and then the accents are the green. Most of them are like 2 to 3 colors, typically 2. And there's like just a main and an accent when you're looking at most droid design. So I'm going to do the thing, though, where one of the limbs has been replaced with the same like part, but from a different droid. So one of the legs is going to be like super bright high vis orange.
Nice.
So just from the knee down,
leg.
I think. Yeah, like it got lopped off somehow and replaced. But I'm going to try to make it look all oily and greasy and stuff, like it's leaking or something.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it might be fun.
From the knee joint or something.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what's going on here. Yeah. What about you?
Well,
how's Ohio?
Ohio's doing all right. We're getting... Oh?
Sorry, that just reminds me. Speaking of Ohio, I bought Bill Murray tickets today.
Oh, nice. Where is it going to be?
Boston.
Cool.
Not Ohio, sorry. Anyway, continue. Just the whole Ohio thing reminded me.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's very, very fair. Ohio's fine. We're okay here. It rains and then the sun is out, and I mow my lawn when the sun is out. And we're in you have to mow potentially twice a week season right now.
Wow, I haven't even
spring in Ohio.
I still have to run out my snowblower. Like that's where we are.
We're gonna have this long driveway at the new house because our lot is like a rear lot. Like so, they're taking like what used to be a lot that was from the road all the way back. He divides that up and basically gives like a stripe of driveway width, and then we have the whole back section. So we're gonna have this long driveway.
There's a house in my neighborhood like that.
Yeah, and they divide up what used to be one property, now it's 2. It's fair, actually helpful. And Marielle was like, "You're gonna like need a snowblower," and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "You're not gonna do that whole thing by hand." And I was like, "Hun."
Bold of you to assume there will be snow.
I mean, look, this year I had to shovel one time because we had this one freak crazy storm that was horrible, and I had to and it broke my back. But the year before, I didn't even use a snow shovel, not once. So like, I am not gonna have like what you think I'm gonna like have and maintain a snowblower. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. For the once a year. No, for the once every 2 years.
Maybe years. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Not happening.
Yeah. I mean, I used mine. I don't know how many times I used mine this year. Enough to not count. Like enough to not even bother to be like, was it worth it? Because it was. Right. And also, I can walk around and survive the rest of the day instead of destroying my body.
Right. I mean, look, if we'll see what happens. If it gets to be a thing, maybe I'll come up with something. But I think I'd sooner buy a flamethrower, to be completely frank with everybody here. I think I get
on mower.
Get a lot more use out of that. Yeah, there you go. The tractor. I will have. Yeah. I'm not sure. I may have actually less grass there than at this house. This house we have a really wide backyard here, so we'll see. But house is coming along.
Get some high school kids to do it.
Well, actually, yeah, that's probably better.
That's where you're at.
Even here, where I have hardly anything to do, every time it snows, like some kids knock on my door, and I'm always like, "Fuck off!" Like, don't even answer the door.
Sorry, kid.
Like,
fuck
give
you.
me a break. I'm like, "Are you serious? This is gonna melt in like an hour." Anyway, but they're always
Or
like,
set up a lemonade stand for when it's 90 degrees later.
later on this same day. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Well, house is coming along. We're in the stage where things are kind of moving on it, and we had to sign something because there was a problem with the deed, and that's getting fixed. So my kiddo was at a field trip, like a sleepaway camp field trip, overnight trip with her class. And that was an excuse to do date night yesterday, which is why I postponed Tone Control. We did that. She got kind of a little cold, but it seemed like she wasn't that bad off, and she still went on the thing. Well, this morning she was a lot worse off and called, wanted to talk to us, had the teacher call us, and I ended up having to go pick her up. The place is only like 35 minutes away, the camp that they were at. So my morning turned into a ton of running around, managing to still get back in time to make my appointment at 12. I had to sign off on a mix with, had the client come in to sign off on a mix, make a little tweaks and stuff like that. And not too far behind. I think I'll be all right. I'll end the week in the right place and not be too far behind. But she's going to be fine, but she's probably going to be home tomorrow too. Oh, well. She hasn't, I don't think she's missed school this year. Even one day. So
this is me thinking about what month it is. Wow, that's amazing.
I think we've had a long run of nobody getting sick. So that's really nice. But anyway, it hit.
We had a long run. We had a really bad winter, like through the end of December and into January. We were sick for, I think, like 3 whole weeks between, like with different things, one per week about
passing around and shit.
And then after that, like we've been pretty good. Now, though, with it warming up, I think Jack's got a seasonal allergy thing happening, but hard to say. So, but anyway, yeah.
So it's fine. It's going. Oh, dude, and I got my fence at this house. This is the thing that annoys the shit out of me. The fence at this house, I remember now that we're getting thinking about when we're going to sell this house soon. It's like it got smashed by one of the landscaper's tractors. And it was this weird situation, and the guy ended up not fixing it. And I just kind of ignored it because it was like up against the woods and it didn't really matter. And it was intact enough for the dogs. And now I'm like having to replace it, and it's going to cost like almost $2,000 because they don't even make this exact shape of metal fence anymore. And they had to like source some of it, and they had to do 3 posts, and so whatever. I mean, it's like, it is what it is, but I
hate that.
I don't know. It's just random crap. There's like
it's random crap like that does nothing. I said this to Beth not that long ago because we had a similar thing come up here. It's nothing but costing me money and inconvenience, right? Like it's just shitty.
It's this mistake we made when we first moved in here, and we like were really tight on money because we had stretched to buy this house at the time. And we tried to get our landscaping done by a guy who was a landscaper, but was like moonlighting at his own job, like instead of hiring his company. And he was trying to kind of like borrow equipment and work after hours, like at night. And in the dark, he backed that Bobcat tractor thing up into the fence. And then he went and bought pieces to replace the fence. And he was going to come back. He's like, I'm sorry, I banged in your fence. I'm going to fix it. He did come back the next day with the pieces, but then like did a little more work and like never actually fixed it and kind of ghosted on us because I think he probably got in trouble at his job and didn't really realize he couldn't really finish it realistically on his own.
Yeah.
And so he stopped returning our calls or anything. And so then I didn't do anything about it. Like I had this fence piece and I was like, someday. Well,
so he left all the stuff there?
He had bought 2 posts and a panel to replace. So I was like, hey, Eads Fence, can you come out here? Yeah. Like, this is a fence. A guy smashed it. I'm not asking you to warranty your 7-year-old fence, but like, I have these pieces. Well, the guy gets here to look at it yesterday and was like, that's not the right piece. And he gets out his tape measure. He bought a piece that has like a 10-inch separation in between the panels, and my fence has a 7-inch separation. And so the posts are wrong. Everything's keyed wrong. It's not going to fit. So I can't even use the stuff that this guy bought for me. So, yeah, so we're bummed. But anyway,
sucks.
We're shaking it all out right now. We're shaking it all out.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. Whatever. Yeah. Well, blah blah
Anyway,
blah. Everything else is fine.
Good. I have rehearsal tomorrow, and we have a gig on Saturday, and I built a little teeny weeny pedal board for it. I'm going to try
for the gig.
Yeah. Yeah, for the gig. So I was using my Helix, and that's great, and I love it. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll put together a little tiny pedal board like for HX Stomp, because I don't need a whole lot for this set. Like I need one delay sound, a couple of drives, and then I just usually have like a room reverb or something really light.
Is this a theme set or anything?
Nope, it's an emo night, I should say, but it's not.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Specifically a band. It's not like we're doing specifically Paramore again. Okay. So the thing about the HX, actually, should we do a sound? Give me a sound.
We should, yeah.
The thing about HX Stomp is it's one of these Power Hog high current pedals. Mm-hmm. So it has its own power supply, or you have to get some adapters and things for a regular power brick, which I have done. I've done that
to
other
merge
thing.
Them?
Yes. So I have a Chalks DC7 on this board, and it with the Crux thing that does all the high current big time pedals and stuff. So that's part of this other board, though. So I'm not like, I can't take that out and put it on this teeny board because, one, it won't fit. And, two, I use it for all the other pedals on this other board here. So I was like, how do I configure a power strip or something like that to let the HX Stomp use its own power supply, which is a terrible shape and design, as well as power some stomp boxes, because I wanted to use like an overdrive or something to just like put a little tiny board, a mini version of my stuff together. Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking at 2 outlets for that setup and kind of a mess of cables, because I'm using this little teeny weeny pedal train mini that I've had for a really long time. So anyway, I landed on this, which is HX Stomp only.
Hi. Yes, with the expression and the switch, I can see you through the thing.
Yeah. So, right, because I have all this like adjacent stuff for my HX Stomp, I've got the volume pedal, which is just like in line. It's not even controlling anything on the stomp. This is a foot switch 4 and 5 extension.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just a volume, because I like using a volume pedal. I have for a long time. So this is what that is acting as, and not taking up a space in the software.
Right. Yeah.
So HX Stomp 1, 2, 3, and then foot switches 4 and 5 are added on. So I still have the tuner and then one extra button, and then that's going right into my friggin' DI box. And
does HX Stomp not have a balanced output?
It does not.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It doesn't have a balanced output, but it's 1/4 inch. Like it's.
Oh, okay. It would need to be adapted.
So, yeah. Gotcha. So I just patch over right into the.
That's
the
fine.
DI box.
There's a lot to say for is a passive DI, I expect, but
yes.
But still, yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this out at rehearsal. If I'm not feeling it, I'll just go back to my Helix, because it's like the same thing. I was really just kind of just right. I was kind of running into like, can I do this with all the sounds I want with the limitation of foot switches? So, because Helix has like friggin' 16 switches on it or some shit.
Right.
So, but anyway, yeah, it's fun.
Helix feels like overkill.
Helix feels like overkill in this scenario. Mm-hmm. I'm one of these people that wants all the foot switches to have something on them, even if there's like kind of no reason. I just want them filled. I guess it's a little, if I have one empty, it irritates me. So I know, I don't know why I'm this way. But that ends up letting me over design rigs.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm like, well, I got the room. And I like
put aspects of it on a switch and add stuff that you're not going to push. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. And that was, I had to really look at the set and be like, well, I don't need that thing. I'll just use this other thing again. Right. I'll use this other sound and meet them in the middle. But so should be fun.
Yeah.
Haven't used it on its own in a few years. So always been pairing it with other pedals and things.
Yeah. Cool. I bet it's going to be great. It's going to be so great.
Basically, I just want to show up with nothing at this point. You know, I want to. I want my guitars to be
Just
there.
an air guitar.
Yeah. I want to show up and just like roll in my office chair onto the stage.
Have the guitar already around your shoulder.
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Yeah. I'm ready. Just have I mean, at a certain point, right? Like just put the little wireless plug that's Bluetoothed into your phone, and I'm pretty sure your phone can do all the Helix stuff, right? Job done.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
But so I was looking around at like little other amp pedal solutions, and the ACS1 or the Iridium or something comes up, and I'm like, I'm not going to go buy, I want this. Like I want an ACS1 so from Walrus Audio, so it can be this little board with a little amp that's physically so much smaller than the HX Stomp for this exact kind of thing. But it's like, it's too much money for a one-off. So, but anyway.
And to do and you have stuff that's like roughly that size
I literally
already
have
that does
the same
the job.
exact fucking thing. Yeah. So like part of me was like, don't be an asshole about this. Like just don't make a big deal out of it. So
who does this guy think I am? Yeah.
Yeah. The remaining issue is I actually need to find my HX Stomp power supply.
Whoops.
So we'll see how that goes. I worked on the preset a lot today, and it sounded
pretty cool. At the point
cool,
where you need to buy a new power supply, you should just get one of those Iridiums or something, right? Instead.
Right. Like, you're right. Lost the power supply.
It got dirty.
Kill two birds. Yeah. So anyway, what else? There was something else I was going to mention, and I forgot it.
Maybe it'll come back.
Maybe.
So let's move on. Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to just back-to-back riff-offs. And I don't know if are these still contests? Kind of. They're riff brawls. I think they're riff brawls now because there isn't really a winner. Since it's randomized, but we're all just getting in there. It's a mosh pit. It's a riff pit. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a riff pit. #RiffPit.
#RiffPit. Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yes. This is some #RiffPit riffing.
That's
awesome.
That's a great fuzz. Whatever that fuzz is, like fucking brilliant.
I don't know
it's
anymore.
Something, but that they really got it too. All right. So I put, as promised, or at least pretty close to as promised, I put up a vote and I picked some random things. Somebody, I think Eric, said we should just go for it and do Mayor. And I was thinking, what are these people gonna do? What are these people gonna do about Mayor?
Steve Jordan backbeat thing.
Yeah,
right.
No, my job would be easy. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, okay.
Making drums.
What would our job be?
Everybody else, I'm like, what are these kids gonna come up with for John Mayer? Anyway, I put it on the vote.
Yeah.
Like it might have won. It got second place in the vote, being completely honest. But the winner turns out to. What else did I put on there?
Good question. You put on there John Mayer, Nirvana, Sum 41, and the White Stripes.
Yeah, I thought Nirvana would be fun. Anyway, I'll keep putting that one on the list until it comes in.
Just brute force it, yeah.
Brute force it. Anyway,
and
so
Sum 41 was cool too because we cover Fat Lip in our set, and so I'm like. Yeah. I'm on Sum 41 again, like as an adult.
I try to give 4 options that are pretty different so that people have an opportunity to be like, you know what? Let's go off the wall with this one or whatever. Although I feel like that would have been vaguely close to last time, but I don't know. I guess the riffs aren't really the same, but it's just that kind of genre.
If it kind of puts you in a different mindset when coming up with your riff, and we're not going to use the same drum beat, so
right.
You know, it's a fresh start anyway. But anyway, I cut you off. The White Stripes.
The White Stripes. So here's the thing. I never listened very much to the White Stripes. I have...
Me neither, actually.
I have such a funny appreciation for all of Jack White's whole thing because very little of his music really connects with me, but I get it on like an academic level, I feel like. You know what I mean?
I understand what you mean.
And I like to think that he would understand that. Because, like, obviously he doesn't give a fuck if anybody likes his music, but for one thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's that, like you like it on paper, right? It's a game recognizes game kind of situation.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I agree. Like when White Stripes were really blowing up, I was in high school and stuff, and I remember hearing it and being like not that impressed, I guess, but I was so like I was really diving into rock music pretty fresh then too, so I was like just soaking up as much as I could. And playing guitar and stuff and trying to start bands and stuff, and I was like feeling as a player it was unimpressive and unremarkable, so why is it so popular? Which is like a super snobby thing to say, but I was, what, 14, 15, 16? So
they
anyway,
were, I guess, like sort of leading or starting a kind of genre shift as well.
I agree.
So it was something where we're always going to look back on it differently than when it first hit. But I wasn't, one of the people who got my eyes opened by it and started getting into that kind of genre, but like whatever, I listen to all kinds of stuff. So whatever, it's fine. Some of his other bands have been more my thing for sure.
I agree. Yeah.
But anyway,
So I'm looking forward to this though, that said. Like this is a situation where it feels like this will be easy because I'm doing that thing, right? The White Stripes, it's kind of easy music. I don't think that's going to be true, right? I don't think it ever was. This will be a lesson. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm learning now. Not now in this moment, but like I've put that together over the years. It's like that exercise in subtlety is the restraint and like all of that stuff is the killer thing. But
so
it'll be cool.
I did a little bit of research, and because I don't know if I would have just known how to come up with a Meg White drum beat on my own, just out of thin air, So anyway, so I did some research and kind of like people talking about White Stripes drums and things like that. These are the sorts of things that, because I was like, what is
the analytical approach?
Exactly. Like, what does the academics say about this? So
how you must approach.
Let me know if this is anywhere near what it's supposed to be. And if it's not, I don't know, maybe you can convince me to change it, but like we might just be going with it anyway. I don't know, but hopefully this is cool and people can come up with, I hopefully left room. The one thing that I noticed when I'm researching is there's this famous kind of simplicity, or you could say restraint, but there's this coreness to it, like distilledness to the drums of White Stripes. But she's often playing not just a rhythm, or not, that's not the right way to say it. She's not just doing a 4 on the floor. You know what I mean? She's doing something that associates with Jack's riff. So, and I can't really do that because I don't want to steer the, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So for the sake of this, I don't think I could do exactly what she would do, because she would be listening to the guitar and playing off of it, because that's what they did. They played off each other. So anyway, so hopefully I didn't put too much of that crap in. Let's do it. And I left the counts on and I put a final beat on. I learned my lessons from last time. You include the count in. I'll always try to give you guys 2 bars of clicks, and I will include the final beat, because it sounded fucking weird when I left the final beat off. As soon as you play guitar to it, you're like, what the fuck? It just muted.
Where's the beat?
Anyway. Yeah, where'd it go? All right, this is what it sounds like.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. I think that's cool.
I think you can do something to that, right?
I think the thing about the drumming is like she's not always doing 4 on the floor, but there's a lot of that sound in the White Stripes music. But I think it's that something is doing is adding up to 4 on the floor, right? So across all the strikes, you know what I mean? All the hits, like that's. And maybe that's what I'm hearing, but that sounds really cool. I think that will work. Like I also am kind of uninformed when it comes to White Stripes, but from like cursory understanding, that feels appropriate, and I think we should probably be good to go.
She does a lot of kind of starting really simple and adding things, and not necessarily playing on the drum heads either. So this is why in the beginning I have the floor tom rim instead of the actual floor tom. going on, and I messed around with it a bunch. This went through like 4 iterations pretty quickly, but I just kind of like lumped through because I kept being like, I'm just making this into like a rock beat. Like there's nothing distinctive about this, you know? Because I could just do ka for 8, or I could do that for 16 bars, and sure, you could play a Jack White riff on that, but I wanted it to be a little more distinctive than that. So anyway.
Well, it's a little more interesting. That's very cool. I like it. We have not talked about what we want to be our big giveaway for this. So remember, here's the new model of these riff contests. You enter, and that's it. Like you are in the drawing for...
You have now followed the rules.
You followed the rule. There are no extra steps or anything like that. You don't got to tag friends. There's none of that garbage. Nope. But you just send in your riff, and you're in the drawing for a bigger, cooler, more expensive prize that we're using our Patreon money to help support. So, little early plug, if you want to help support these types of things, head to our Patreon. You can find info there. That said, we will have a vote in the server who will get some cool, like, small little tchotchke things from the tone control, just a crowd poll for their favorite. But yeah, if you just submit your entry, you could win something cool. Last time we gave away a Pedal Train Classic Junior with a soft case, which is a hell of a piece of gear. I tore mine apart today, and it was easy because it was a pedal train.
Yeah.
But we have not discussed what we want to give away, like you and me, and I think I'm still open to feedback on what people might want. So I put a poll up in publishing our most recent episode last time on Spotify. I didn't mention this anyway. Just wanted to see if anybody was paying attention. If Spotify now offers polls, there were no details there the last time I checked. But so we're open to all kinds of stuff, and this includes things like guitar pedals, obviously, or guitar cases, or accessories like pedal boards, as well as the type of stuff we've covered before. So String Joy and Honey Picks, Rattlesnake, like those type of accessories, gift cards to those places. Sweetwater, Reverb, those are gift cards, like that sort of thing. If anything is not exciting or very exciting, let us know, because I want to make sure that we're like driving your interest here. We want to like have people participate. It's really fun to hear everybody kind of cooperating and collaborating on something like that. Not cooperating, but you know what I'm saying? Like we're all working together on the same project at home kind of thing. It's fun.
Right. I have the in my mind, like I think we're in the format, right? We've got it down to where we really liked how it came out last time. So, and I'm hoping that's going to encourage more people to start sending something, because like obviously we are not expecting them to like sound amazing or any of this stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
just record it however you can, because it's about
any noob can do it.
Right. It's again like we are literally going to roll a die, and like we're going to roll some dice, and we're going to pick a winner, and it's going to be randomized to get the big stuff. So you have a shot. I'm guaranteeing it. The thing that's actually voted on is like a beer koozie and some picks. So
which I need to drop a mailer back to you, because apparently Derek's out of beer koozies and picks. So I'm the one with all the stores of them. I'm going to send some back his way, because
don't send beer koozies. I have lots of those.
Oh, okay. Stickers and picks then. I'll send some back.
Stickers and picks, yeah. So anyway, that's the deal. Record it however you can and just get it to us.
And if you want advice, like if this is something like you've never even recorded a riff before, let's talk. Let's talk in Discord, and I can show you simple, quick ways of doing it, because there is simple, free things that you can do with whatever kind of computer you have, even if it's a phone. There's ways of doing it. So.
Yeah. So please participate and jump in. We haven't set up any dates or parameters for this one. Do we want to? I think we should probably wait until we have a thing picked, like a grand prize selected. Sure. Is that fair? Okay.
Yeah. I think time frame wise, they're all lasting like at least a month, right? Because we're sort of waiting for it to come out. Then we give people at least 2 weeks to do it, and then maybe it rolls into the next episode after that, depending on our schedule. So
right. So, and we're on Tuesday today, so we're like a little off our game as it is, and so we'll have an update on that soon. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, rad, very, very good, and
very, very good.
Next thing.
think that was the Hudson broadcast.
That sounds right. I remember really digging that tone in there.
Pedal.
Great tuning, by the way, Derek. Just the rhythm tracks on that.
Oh,
extremely in tune.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Excellent job. Yeah, that is the source of half of great music's greatness is being successfully in tune.
That is correct.
Sounds like I'm joking. It's not.
I listened to our last episode a little bit today, just because I like to spot check stuff just to see like
how we doing?
Well after we've recorded and stuff. And this thing about the TC Ditto and them not leading with it fixes your mistakes is bothering the living shit out of me. That is such a cool. Anyway,
it's such a fuck up.
It's clearly the wrong direction. So anyway, we're going to talk more about Walrus Audio. This is just because last time, or either last episode or 2 episodes ago, I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to put the Canvas stuff in the notes and just haven't. So today I actually bothered to do that. And by today, I mean moments before clicking record tonight.
Did someone say guitar news?
Yeah, so this is not pedal news. It's not guitar news, but these are 2 things from Walrus, the Canvas clock and the Canvas rehearsal, that I think Justin will find interesting and as a more exciting thing to have in guitar than tuners and power supplies. So what do you want to start with?
Well, I've just pulled up the Canvas clock. So what the hell is the Canvas clock? It looks like a metronome.
You're halfway there, except
Nailed
you're
it.
not.
On to the next topic. Oh, okay.
So it's not a metronome so much as it is a sync clock for all of your time-based things.
Oh, and it's gotcha. Yeah.
So it's a MIDI clock, but it's also you can do it through a lot more than just MIDI. So it's got tons of I/O on it and stuff, so you can send and control different things all with one unit. So you can have your time-based effects following this master clock, basically, and that can be programmed with all these different BPMs for your set list that you can manage on an app on your desktop or on your phone. So you can just cycle through your set list. It'll have the BPM there or whatever you have it set to displayed on this huge screen, and set all your time-based stuff accordingly.
Wow. So yeah, I see MIDI in out on actual MIDI ports. There's 4 1/4-inch ports.
Yep.
For who knows what. Control signal potentially.
Oh, CV, control voltage.
Yes, that's what I was trying to come up with. Then on the top, go back to the top. Go back to the top pictures. This one, MIDI in out on 1/8-inch phono jacks, and then a sync jack and metronome out as well.
And USB-C.
300 milliamps on a pedal is quite a bit of current.
It is, yeah. So the 4 1/4-inch jacks are not just for sending tempo. It says they can be assigned one of 4 functions. So it can be a tempo out, so to connect any pedal or device that accepts external tap input, or analog time controls like some delays and things like that. You can do control voltage out or CV out, control any device that accepts CV, like analog synths or modular synths, things like that. Switch input. Each jack can be configured to receive input from 2 external foot switch controls. These switches are connected to the tip and ring of the associated jack. So assigned, you can assign many functions on the pedal to add more stuff like to the control options and stuff. And then you can also do an expression in as the 4th function there. So you can do the toe down, heel down values and stuff for changing that on the fly. The 2 foot switches are for like advancing and going back in the set list, if you want to call it that.
It's got set list and song.
And the 2 knobs there are clickable encoders. So there's all kinds of stuff under the hood, not just the 4 1/4-inch ins and stuff, but there's also the metronome. There are 128 song slots available. Let's see. MIDI macros is what it's telling me. So it can be. There are standard MIDI commands that can be triggered when you recall songs with clock, with the Canvas clock. 128 adjustable macros with 15 messages per MIDI macro, which can be useful in further dictating how you want your MIDI devices to behave during certain songs. So bypassing but engaging others, that kind of thing. So doing that.
So
kind
you're
of stuff,
sending program changes to things that can receive them over MIDI, which can be pretty complex signals. Yeah.
Yeah, this does solve something. Like, I think this is a cool. There's been MIDI sync clocks out for like forever. Those are not unusual. Strymon makes one. This one, though, I think is more appealing to like guitarist brain because it looks and feels like a pedal. It's got like the big BPM right there, right?
It's the guy. It's the guy playing the MacBook on stage. It's so fucking funny. Except that was so real. You think it's going to be a fake joke, but it was not.
So, I think this is a cool thing. I don't need it at all, but I think it's a cool thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't do this kind of thing with my time-based effects. But the other one, should we dive into that?
Yeah, let's cut right over.
So Canvas Rehearsal. Canvas is this line of utility products from Walrus Audio, if that wasn't clear. So they've got a tuner in the lineup, as well as many of their power supplies are called the Canvas something, the Canvas 8 or 12 or something like that. So the Canvas Rehearsal looks like a guitar pedal, but it's designed for musicians who use effects pedals that you can combine with a metronome here. So it is something to be put at the end of your chain, and you can then headphone out right into it. You can Bluetooth your phone to it to rehearse along with recorded stuff. So you can play it off your phone, get it through your pedal board and listen. It's got on-device mix controls for guitar, click, and the blend of their auxiliary in or Bluetooth in, and then an overall headphone level.
And
it's got a bunch of different
meter
USB, but a bunch of different meter controls. So it's not just 4/4. It does 40 BPM up to 250 BPM, which okay. And I think the only thing that I saw that I did not love about this is it can't seem to do a lot of odd meter stuff. So it won't be doing your 5/4s or your like 7/8s and stuff, but it can do 6/8, 3/4, 2/2. I'm not sure if it does 12/8, that kind of stuff. So obviously 4/4 is in there. But this is an interesting thing, I think, because we don't talk about metronomes and we don't talk about the importance of metronomes enough in the guitar reverse. I think we've talked about it a lot on the show,
right?
As far as like recording and does it take anything out of the feel of music and stuff. But this is a cool idea, I think, because if you're practicing at home with all your stuff, like I'm practicing through headphones most of the time because I'm playing along to songs. But what I don't have with that is a click track, which I don't need. But
okay, but I mean, going back to like you practice along with songs, this can help you with that. But it's also putting, I mean, it's bringing the classic ways of practicing, the good practicing habits. That's what I'm trying to come up with, into this era where now you can have headphones. I mean, previously, like if you're playing guitar, it was noisy. It had to be. So now that it doesn't realistically have to be, and almost everybody's got some way that they can just go right into headphones with their guitar, then now we need something like that, right? We don't just have a metronome on a shelf and it's going to be beeping into your room.
You might be plugging into a computer to play guitar, which is not uncommon, but you might not be that familiar with your DAW, right? Or you may not be familiar with metronome controls or something like that.
Or it might just still be simpler and easier to...
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on for sure. So it's got stereo in and out and MIDI in and through. So this is really designed to be something that you really interface with like while you're practicing. It is a tool for all of that. So anyway, these two things have come out and they're kind of new. What, a metronome pedal? What? Right, like what would we have said about this?
Well, okay, but it is a metronome pedal. We're just bringing it back around full circle. It's got MIDI in and out, so you could drive your effects with this as well, right? So you could be practicing your scales or whatever and doing it to a metronome because that's the correct way to practice your scales.
While a flanger turns on.
And while your delay is your tempo synced, dotted eighth delay is making your life awesome. and it's all tracking. And, you know, we kick over to the next song. I mean, put a bunch of songs in your thing. You know the tempos of your songs. You drop them in there over USB or whatever. They're all tempo synced. Your effects sync with them. I'm just saying, like, it looks like it's probably easy as fuck to do what used to be crazy. So
yeah. So between this and the clock, the MIDI clock, like you could get up to so you can get in some trouble.
Yeah, you could. I don't know where I was gonna go. I don't know.
So I mean,
shenanigans.
What do you think? Do you like this? Is this is this a good one? $249 for the rehearsal and $299 for the clock. Don't love that.
Okay, that's a lot. What do I think of that? What do I think of that?
Yeah, so $250 for the metronome pedalboard solution, right?
So now
is that? I guess like you'd have to be part of your whole other studio setup to make what's the threshold on making $250 worth it?
Yeah, trying to be like, okay, so what did I just sort of described how this made sense. Does it still make sense?
Yeah, does
I don't know. Yeah, that's so much more than a metronome costs.
It's so much more than a metronome that you can get for free on your phone.
Right.
But it's solving a lot more than just keeping time, right? It's the headphone thing, okay, right? I got my guitar in my ears and my click and my playback. And I don't have to use my computer to do so. There's that. Is that worth $250 to someone?
Yeah, you wonder, is there a version of this that costs $150 that, like, what do you have to cut out of it? Because like when I look at the rehearsal, it's not got a fancy OLED screen in it or anything like that. Like it's got a little simple LCD kind of deal or whatever this is, LED, I guess. And I don't know. These probably have the same chip in them, right? Because it's just like a little programmable CPU in there that they're using for everything nowadays. I don't know. I don't want to bemoan Walrus for making stuff that has a price tag, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
It has a lot of features. So what would you cut? Would the aux just be like an analog port, you know?
I was just going to say I would cut stereo. Like I would just go mono on this. Like, but how much would that really save?
Well, the headphone has to be stereo. The headphone has to be stereo, but it doesn't need to have stereo guitar input.
Right. We didn't mention that it also has a tap tempo. So you can dial in the tempo or you can tap it in. So
I was thinking technically this could be the MIDI. I mean, it's a little less flexible and a little less like has every single port compared to the clock, but this could do the job of the clock. Like it's got those MIDI in outs and, you know, with the right setup, this could be your rehearsal thing and it could be driving your thing. And now it doesn't have the set list features. I was going to say
the set list thing is kind of the make or break there, because otherwise you're kind of bound to one.
You have to dial it over MIDI. Each song.
You just send it over MIDI.
You're still changing the tempo. You have to manually set like the tempo.
Right, but you send MIDI to the rehearsal is what I'm saying from a laptop or something.
Well, I was trying to create a scenario where the rehearsal was the only one you need.
Well, there's no computers, and then you just plug into your DAW.
I don't know.
Yeah.
These are probably a little more niche than we were first thinking, I guess, right?
It's so interesting how the price just suddenly is like, and it's for no one. Like it's, which is not true. I know. I saw some demos of this, and I think there are really valid use cases. The clock. I think if you have a really complex rig that has a lot of time-based control options, something like this, if you don't have a solution for this already, this is like a pretty clear move. But I think if you're into that, you might be there by now. $300 for MIDI clock.
Boy, if you need it though, like if you've got a complex thing that really could use a MIDI brain like that, you've probably got something that is a headache in some way or is difficult to use in some way. And this is about to sound to that person seem a really cheap way of making everything work better than
Just
the way it works now.
Go away.
But like to somebody who doesn't already have this crazy thing, I mean, you could scheme one, I guess, but you're not gonna see
it's
this
a solution
and go,
in search of a problem.
A little bit, yeah. You're not going to see that and go, finally I will buy 6 Strymon pedals now that this has arrived.
Now that I can keep them all in sync, right?
Right.
So now, all of this said, I do really like the idea of the Canvas line. These utility pedals that are not effecty, I think that's cool. I like what they're doing there. It just leads to more niche stuff, though. Like there's a tuner, there's a DI box, there's like a reamping tool in the lineup as well. So
a bunch of different size power supplies.
Yeah,
these are all a lot of money.
They are, but they're all the really high current stuff. Like there is the thing, Walrus Audio in the last
3 amps at 9 or 12 volts.
Yeah, fuck you.
24 volt through.
Yeah, so you can expand them. They're daisy chainable.
That's not even the most expensive one.
So
this one can do 3 amps at 18 volts.
What are you powering with that? Like, fuck.
Well, it's funny. So I just, as I said, I had a band came in to finalize their mixes. I was doing kind of a quick thing. We didn't have a lot of like budget left in the session for mixing, and it was something that kind of got passed to me. And so I don't know, I was like, maybe I was doing them a favor or something like that, but I did kind of a quicker mix than I would have. And I said, why don't you do this? I'm just going to blast through. And then when it comes time to do notes, you're just going to come in with me and we're just going to spend like an hour together and make sure I get the notes right. And then we don't have a lot of back and forth recalls. Right. Yep. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. And, the guitar player notices my Effectrode. Right. And waits till the end of the session to say something about me. So she's probably like, she's been looking at it the whole time kind of thing. But she's like, so is this really like a guitar amp? And I was like, well, let me tell you, by the way, it needs a special power supply because it needs 2 amps at 12 volts. And nothing will give that to it. So I know I come over to, exactly. We could buy this. I mean, it came with one, but like I could have this one unit. You know what? The Canvas tuner, now that I'm pulling this up and scrolling through that, I remember when that launched. And it was
and I remember kind of making fun of it. Like, why do I need a friggin' gigantor ass screen on my tuner? But
I mean, I'm looking at my chintzy Polytune down here, and I would love to have one of these Canvas tuners. And I'm not going to buy one because like I've already got a bunch of tuners. That's not happening. But boy, oh boy. Right. Boy, does that look nice.
So, okay, here's the thing. I was reading about this earlier. The tuner has a rehearsal timer built into it, which is like the timer thing. That's a good move. I've always wanted to have a little stopwatch on my pedal board, like a little just timer, like on-off timer, just time set list, so I don't have to fumble with my phone. I usually don't have my phone on stage anyway, and I never really think to like set a set timer and stuff like that, but it's a thing that we end up having to do a lot.
Look at that.
Wouldn't that be nice to just have a little like click, we're going, and then it's just there. I don't know. There's a million ways to solve that problem, but
that's a really grown up thing to want, Derek. Like
the timer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to you probably won't hear this, but shout out to Abe Hughes, who like I saw that on his board once, a little stopwatch. Had to be 15 years ago. And I was like, Abe's a pro.
He knew where
right
we
then
were
I knew it.
He knew where we were all going.
Yeah.
Way back then. Cool. That's it.
Yeah.
I've decided.
Walrus Audio stuff. Hey, I have not heard from them, but a little while ago we mentioned that there is a coupon code for listeners of the Tone Control. The first 50 to use that code get 15% off their stuff at Walrus. So that code will be in the show notes. Just saying.
Still there. We haven't heard that they've been used up.
Yeah.
So.
Just saying.
There you go.
15%.
Maybe we should do a Walrus gift card for one of these giveaways.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
It comes with a 15% off. That makes it a pretty good fucking deal.
Do they do gift cards? Like, can I even do that? Whatever. We'll figure that out. That's a good question. But anyway, okay. Should we get out of here?
I bet they would. They made a coupon code for us. Well,
That's we're
gonna we're gonna tackle our little things of the week, our thing of the week, because I've actually got one.
Yeah, hit me with it.
All right.
Excellent.
Do my headphones sound better tonight, or are all our bumps just fucking bangers? What's
Are they
up?
loud? Is that what's going on? Turn it up a little bit?
Maybe I turned my headphones up a little bit and I'm tricking myself, but fuck, you know? Anyway, so you know what I should do? I should make a little link for this. So I am going to tell you about a TV show, and it is on Amazon Prime. So if you're not an Amazon Prime subscriber, then you don't get to see the Amazon Prime video. But we are going to look at, where do I find a website where this will?
Probably IMDb.
IMDb is fine. Yeah, I'll put that on the screen. Okay. Secret Level is a show on Amazon Prime. It's basically got one season. Oh no, it says 2 seasons. No, the other one's going to be future. So there are a few episodes. I'm not through them all yet. This show is like a animated, like computer animated, like really, really high graphic kind of thing, with a lot of voice talent that you'll recognize. Arnold Schwarzenegger is in one of them.
Wow.
It's a little bit like The Twilight Zone or something, where there's no continuing story. Each one of these episodes is its own
like a little
story.
vignette.
Right. Vignette's a great way of putting it. And they're all about like games. So there's Unreal Tournament is one episode. It's sort of a story that somebody created, like sort of within the universe of
that was
this
like I was
video
going to
game.
ask. Like, is it about characters in these game universes?
Maybe. I'm not always, like, there's one about Warhammer 40,000, which is a thing I'm not really familiar with. So I don't know if they actually referenced characters that you know, if you were to pay attention to that, but you don't need to, because I still enjoyed it, kind of thing. There's one that's Pac-Man. And it's like that one's a pretty fun one, because it's like, how are they going to reimagine this into a sort of vignette, right? It's really, really cool. They're all super different.
It reminds me of your description reminds me of Love, Death, and Robots, which is a Netflix thing.
I don't know if I watched it, but yeah.
I've only watched 1 or 2 of these episodes. Again, nothing connecting them, just little animated vignettes, and they're all kind of in a different style. But
yeah, there's a little bit of style. I mean, the graphics are realism, but like the settings are all super different. One of them's pirates and kings on an island, and another one is like a high-tech future universe with floating robots. And
gotcha.
You know, one of them is Dungeons and Dragons. So they're very varied. Original stories set within worlds of iconic video games are featured in this animated anthology series. Really, really cool. Like I said, I haven't watched them all yet, but I find it enthralling. They're not that long either. They're like 20 minutes or something, I think.
I will check that out.
Yeah.
I have a pick that's also a TV show.
Okay.
Sakamoto Days. Have you heard about this?
No.
Sakamoto Days is a Japanese manga series, written and illustrated by Yuto Suzuki, according to Wikipedia. It is now a Netflix original anime, and I think there's 1 season, and it's hilarious and awesome. So, like, I'm not an anime person at all. I have very little knowledge of this or experience in this area. But the basic, it's kind of it's a 30-minute type sitcom format, and it's a mix of like super intense and vividly violent John Wick style action, combined with like funny sitcom tropes and like silly jokes and scenarios.
Okay, I can get behind that.
So
I like the
plot,
I'm watching like some of the like demo reel that they are showing here, and it's like the character that like doesn't have a mouth this sort of
he's only a
style.
mustache.
Right.
So that character, Taro Sakamoto, he's like a shopkeeper. He's a retired hitman. Again, very John Wick.
Sure.
Is unrivaled, like the greatest the world has ever known. And now, like, he's retired and right, he's a shopkeeper. He lives a peaceful life, that kind of thing. And of course, they're trying to recruit him back into the Assassin's Guild, or they're trying to kill him or something. Like, it's a little bit different every time. The angle of approach is a little bit different in each episode. And just the stuff they do is hilarious and kind of deliberately over the top because anime.
Right.
So, like, when he's really kicking ass, he's suddenly young again. Young and skinny.
Yeah, the surrealistic things that they'll often throw into a thing like that. Yeah.
But the action sequences are just so well thought, and he's this very calm, very like, just, I don't know, very, very chill character that's like ruthlessly killing the whole room. So anyway, it's pretty great. I've been enjoying it. The dub is good. The theme song is really cool. It's got like some really crazy, fuzzy, overdriven guitars and stuff. It's like they're singing in Japanese, so I have no idea what it is, but I hear Sakamoto Days and I hear the riffs and I'm like getting pumped.
Get you in that mood. There you go.
Yeah, 11 episodes, and you can find it on Netflix now. I think they're all out. They were doing a weekly thing with that, but yeah.
Cool. That'll go on the list as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
It's a good background show. Yeah, so let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
You know what, Justin?
Yeah. What?
I got a box of ice cream sandwiches in my freezer. I gotta go.
Okay. From George Washington, before we go.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
That's all right. These are quick. Put not off your clothes in the presence of others, nor go out your chamber half-dressed. Is that good enough? Do you want another one?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Give me another one.
Okay, we'll finish up this page. At play and at fire, it's good manners to give place to the last comer, and affect not to speak louder than ordinary.
Okay.
Make room for people who show up late.
Okay.
I guess.
Don't speak loud.
Don't speak too loud. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Well, all right. Good episode. Hey, we talked about some guitar stuff, so they can't tell us we're doing it wrong.
We talked about Star Wars. We talked about anime. We talked about Warhammer. We talked about all these things.
Good times. Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening, and thanks for the things, and thanks to the patrons, and that's why we get to do riff contests. So check that out. I'll post that soon. #RiffPit. All right. Thanks, everybody. It goes to Fender Hot Bob Deluxe, Messy Boogie Mark IV, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenslaw, Reisenwolf, Beakow 69420, Catan Drew, Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects, and Stevie Ray Hendricks 2012.
Oh, I forgot to change it. Oh well, whatever. We'll get it next time.
Now. All right.
That's fine. We're running out of music time. Bye.
Oh no, bye.